The reason we chose to do Chicago-style hot dogs was not just because I love them, which I do, but they've got 8 classic toppings. And I wanted to see if, at something as mundane as a hot dog cart, we could take staff members, and we hired out-of-season coat checkers from 11 Madison Park. And could we remember if there was a line of, I didn't know there was going to be 100 people in line, which there were every day. But let's say there were 10 people in line. Could we remember, this is the man that loves everything except pickle relish. And that's the woman that likes everything except mustard. And that's the person that likes everything except hot peppers. And lo and behold, we did. We proved it. Now, we lost money. There's a reason that hot dog carts don't have 5 people working them the way we did. But we did that for 3 years. And it was so successful that that's when we said, let's turn it into a permanent kiosk, 20-foot by 20-foot kiosk called Shake Shack. And it was never supposed to become a business, a big business, never mind a public company. But we've always asked ourselves, whoever wrote the rule, that just because the check average is 12 bucks, that you can't imbue it with hospitality. I've got a great story to illustrate this. And we make mistakes all the time, but it is part of the culture at Shake Shack just as much as it is at Gramercy Tavern or the Modern. Here's a great story. I think this was about a year ago or so. There was a couple who had come to New York. They had read Setting the Table, and they wanted to do what they call a Danny Diner Out. And the only reason I knew about this was because of a tweet. They got this all into 144 characters. And they said, but we were absolutely disappointed because we had strategically left Shake Shack to the very end before our flight at JFK. And at the last minute, Delta had moved their flight from Terminal 4 to Terminal 2. So someone at Shake Shack picked up on that tweet, delivered Shake Shack all the way to Terminal 2 for them. And then they tweeted that story out to tell the whole world about it. And I said to myself, that I would be proud of that kind of hospitality if that had happened in a Michelin-starred restaurant. It's just, did you hire people who wanted to serve from the heart or not? Bon appetit, by the way.
That's a great story. That's really great. Now, throughout your book, there are wonderful lines that I really like. And not only do they strike a chord, but they also send a very strong message. You talk a lot about who wrote the rule of XYZ. And you broke the rule many times with your staff by simply examining and saying what makes sense and what should I be doing to offer this great hospitality. How did that come about?
I think there's probably something a little bit maverick in everyone who decides to go into the restaurant business, because you are the author of how you want to do business. You get to pick the lease. You get to design the restaurant. You get to pick the chef or be the chef. You get to design the menu. You get to figure out what your waiters and waitresses are going to wear for uniforms. Hang the art. And so I feel like all of us have a little bit of, we want to run our own ship here. But I think that there's too many things that we do the same as everybody. Even in all the things we do differently, there's sometimes too many of the same things that we do just like everybody else. And in a way, it gets back to the salt shaker theory, which is, there's no rule that says the salt shaker should go in the center, but there is a rule that if I believe it belongs in the center, I better make damn well sure that it's actually the center. So I don't know, I think that my personality is that I like to look at the landscape of how things are and just constantly say, whoever wrote the rule, that it couldn't be done differently than that. I think the first major time I did it was when we eliminated smoking from Union Square Cafe voluntarily in 1990, a full 12 years before it became law in New York. And everyone that I've heard about in our industry certainly believe that that would be suicide. I will tell you that even in 2012, when it became law, and Mayor Bloomberg, 2002 rather, and Mayor Bloomberg asked if I would testify at the city council on behalf of the law, I said, I will testify what it did for our business, but I don't have any interest in imposing on my industry what works for us, because if you're going to say whoever wrote the rule, I did it because I thought it would make us busier, and it did. And during the years after 1990, Union Square Cafe saw its steepest rise in terms of popularity and cover counts and profitability. And I was happy to testify about that, but I wouldn't testify that it should be part of our whole industry, nor would I testify that we should have labeling for salt and all this other nonsense. And I won't testify that anybody should eliminate tipping, ever. But I will always answer why I think sometimes it makes sense to do things a little bit differently. So for example, we're facing probably the biggest crisis our industry has ever faced in terms of not just labor costs, but quality of labor. I don't know if anyone else is having this experience. You're all busy eating your scormato. But I kind of got tired of saying our business exists for the purpose of first taking care of our team, even before we take care of our customers. And then saying, all right, well then, why over the course of your 30-year career have you presided over tipped employees earning 250% of what they were earning in 1985, and non-tipped employees only earning 25% more? And I got to the point where I said, I can't keep saying, I know it's wrong, but it's just the system. And maybe whoever wrote the rule that it has to be the system. So that was sort of the start. But, you know, we also do that with almost everything in the whole business, because at the basis, everyone in this room, whether you're a restaurateur or a consumer, at the very basis, we're all in the exact same business. They give us money and we give them food, right? From that point on, you better start saying whoever wrote the rule, or your business is just like everybody else's at that point. And you better be questioning everything. Whoever wrote people have questioned, whoever wrote the rule you need tablecloths. I'm now questioning whoever wrote the rule you don't need a tablecloth. Whoever wrote the rule that you need a uniform. Whoever, you know, there's so many opportunities for us to ask that question, to have a point of view, but to understand that at the end of the day, we really only have one job, and that is whoever walks across our door, whether there's someone who works there or someone who's dining there, our job is to make sure they feel a little bit better when they leave than however they felt when they came. And that's what all of our efforts go into.
In your tipping policy, do all the employees